On sitting down to read King Lear once again. King Lear is one of Shakespeare's greatest tragedy. Once again already indicates that Keats had already read the play. But why would he be reading the play once again? The poem focuses on Keats' desire to read the tragedy of King Lear once again, as it is one of Shakespeare's most successful play about family life. The play focuses on misery, which was one of the things that Keats felt and suffered from all his life. One, because of the death of his brother Tom. And secondly, because of the unreciprocated love which was not consummated, which he had for Fanny Brown. In the first 4 lines, Keats references his own work, calling it a golden-tongued romance with serene lute. He makes references to siren, Greek sea nymphs that play tunes to lure sailors into water and to their death. These creatures are usually very beautiful, and Keats includes them in the opening lines to denote the beauty of his own museo. Muse or inspiration, and the beauty in writing poetry, which is called fair-plumed siren, queen of faraway. Keats wants to put aside writing a poem in order to focus on the reading of the play. In leave melodizing on this wintry day, shut up thine olden pages and be mute. He is really anxious to read the play once again. He wishes that his muse be still and quiet, and pleads that she departs. In the second part of the poem, the speaker says what he will do rather than write poetry. The speaker refers to Shakespeare as the chief poet. The speaker ends the poem musing that he doesn't want to wander in a barren dream. The speaker wants to get inspiration by rereading the play, and he will have a new desire, an inspiration, and a new way to writing poetry from the inspiration that he would have gotten from the rereading of King Lear. The speaker fights the urge to write poetry, which is his passion, in order to reread King Lear. Remember that Keats wanted perfection in his poetry, and so he looked up to his predecessors, whom he considered literary geniuses, for inspiration, and Shakespeare was one of them. The opening lines will be a short and brief introduction of Keats' romantic leanings. Also note the expansive way in which he sounds, he sends away his muse, and the inference and the reference that he makes to wintry, which may suggest Keats' loneliness. The way the speaker puts it shows that it is a compulsion, as if rereading the play is something that he must accomplish, because he knows what inspiration he will get when he reads the play again. His feelings for the play has pushed behind even what he likes doing. The word bittersweet to describe the play is when King Lear reunites with his disgraced daughter Cordelia, attains her forgiveness, but dies at the end of the play. It should be noted that Keats greatly admired Shakespeare as one of the founders of English literature, and simply refers to him as the chief poet. He considered him one of the greatest. The relevance of Shakespeare's work saw a resurgence during the Romantic period and a revisitation of some of the themes that he had handled. In Keats' opinion, Shakespeare was the maestro of tragedy, and in him you could sense the beauty in literature. His works display a great mastery of the use of the English language. Keats makes reference to Albion in the poem, which is the county where he and Shakespeare wrote. The reference to barren dreamers suggests the fact that Keats has not yet written the poem that he had intended to because he lacks real inspiration, which he wants to get from reading from the master poet, the chief poet himself. He wants to be consumed by the fire of inspiration. He tells his muse, the muse is the goddess of inspiration in poetry, to stay away because he wants to focus on reading King Lear to get inspiration that he needs to write the type of poetry that he desires. Keats wants a new muse, a better way to write poetry, and a better view of the world, which can only be achieved through the rereading of King Lear. This poem deviates from Keats' fusion of tragedy, happiness, and his reflection on beauty to a simple poem, which does not talk about dreams or focuses on beauty like the other poems do. The theme of this poem is the relationship with drama as a source of inspiration or the beauty of language in literature. Reading the poem gives him a new energy and creative ability. He pays tribute to Shakespeare and other great English writers whom he refers to as Cloud of Albion and crowns Shakespeare as the chief poet. Through the poem, he meditates about his own suffering, the eventual death, and his eventual death due to the tuberculosis that he had contracted.